Well, hey, men's think tank. Just wanted to follow up from our meeting, just kind of hit a couple of the high points by way of reminder, and talk about some of the action steps, and then really help maybe some of the guys who weren't able to be there, kind of be caught up as soon as possible. For you guys that hadn't had the opportunity or couldn't be there, I should say, I would love to connect up with you and grab some coffee or lunch to kind of give you more information for what you need. But ultimately, they just wanted to say, hey, um, the identity kind of series of videos that we shot, really, this is kind of an extra to that, specifically on men's ministry. Currently, if you remember from the overview video, we don't have anybody staff-wise who is over men's ministry. And so what our plan going forward is to bring together this think tank, to generate some ideas, build some teams. The guys on the think tank, I'm praying and hoping that some of you want to jump in to be a part of maybe the men's ministry lead team. But again, that was not my intention. Really, the intention on this think tank was to generate ideas, build unity along this common framework, this fourfold kind of identity alignment tool that I presented in the identity series, and then build the men's ministry based upon a lay-led team that is divided into connect, grow, and influence. And so I just wanted to follow up with that video with that. And again, for us as men, we want to help men understand that to be a disciple is to love Jesus, not in a romantic way, but in this allegiance, empowered. I am joining the King of the universe on his in his rescue operation to the ends of the earth, and I get to love him because he's done so much for me. We want to invite men to be changed by Jesus, and then to live out the mission of Jesus as dads, as husbands, as men who have great jobs. And so ultimately we want that then to really flow into our mandate, right? We want to help men experience transformation through Jesus and become all they're designed, called, and gifted to be. Again, not everybody is to be a vocational minister or pastor, but every believer is a minister. And we want to look into our culture, look into the Permian Basin, and to try to build a ministry empowered by God's Spirit that will actually equip men to do that. And it's going to be difficult, as we talked about in our time together. We don't want to take men away from their families at night. So having classes on the evening, if they're disconnected from their kids and their wives, is probably not a win for us. That's why men's morning Bible study is a good, as we talked about, a pond to fish from, to use Jacoby's terminology there. We got to think about how to be more strategic, maybe with some podcasts for, as I talked about that during that meeting of getting maybe some 20-minute podcasts out to guys that can listen to as they drive to a location or to the office, that have clear next steps. Because when it got down to it, what we wanted to communicate as we lead people, men specifically, into all they're designed, called, and gifted to be, we want to structure our team around connect, grow, and influence. And so one of the action steps from the meeting is for all of you guys to think through your network of relationship, guys that may not necessarily be a part of the lead team of men's ministry going forward, but could be vital leadership to staff, so to speak, the connect team, the grow team, and the influence team. So just keep thinking, be praying, gather those names, have coffee, network with those guys, communicate this vision of this shared common language about us going forward. And so that kind of led into, us talking about how men, we want to invite men into these realities of our shared scoreboard. And then as we talked about, I think some of the point was made that a lot of what men's ministry is right now is one way. Men's morning Bible study is largely just a smaller version of Sunday, where it's a one-way conversation. I think men's boot camps definitely get past that to a degree, but ultimately, as we agreed upon in men's ministry, is that we want to do whatever it takes to help men connect in meaningful relationships to each other, to be comrades as we grow into disciples who make disciples, right? And then we want to help them doing that, identify and take their next steps as men. We talked about how most churches are primarily women, and that when a church gets 70% women, 30% men, it's on its decline. But growing churches are 50-50, and so we want to work hard to win the men, and to win the family, and to win the culture. And so, again, one of the things I want to be very clear about is some things I'm really leading on our other teams is something that I said in a couple of videos, that every opportunity to do ministry is not something that we maybe should do, right? Because sometimes opportunities are just distractions in disguise. I'm going to use this language over and over again. It's not about everything that we can do, because we could do a lot, but in the end, what should we must do. And I loved how Matt Johnson in our meeting brought up that we don't want to dilute men's influence by taking them away from their families, their wives, their kids. But at the same time, what does it look like to build a men's ministry that helps men experience transformation through Jesus, become all that and called and gifted to be, structure around a connect team, grow team, and influence team. So be thinking about that. Again, we're all praying together wherever we find ourselves on Fridays about God leading us in ministry to men at Stonegate Fellowship. And then we're going to have our next meeting Sunday, June 25th at 5 o'clock in the same place that we had it the first time, in the small conference room. So thank you guys so much for investing this time. Looking forward to praying with you. Excited about the team that God has assembled.